Welcome to the adiFrames frame tutorial. Today we're going to show you how to use the frame tool in automatic mode. When you install adiFrames, you're going to get a button bar that looks like this. One command is frames, the other command is glass. So today we want to press on frames, and we're going to have this dialog box pop up. This dialog box has a lot of options, but you'll see that they get very easy. In our material system, we have drop down. So I'm going to drop this down, and here I have a bunch of material systems that I typically draw. adiFrames comes with these three standard frame systems, but once you purchase the program, you can register on the website and download all the rest for free. If there's something on there that's not available, let us know. We'll get it out for you. So today, what I want to do is I want to use a 451T system. Screw spline, outside glaze, and the stops are up. So I'm just going to click that. Then I have a frame set name box. And all that is an identifier. Let's say that the architect calls that window type 8. So I'm just going to drop that in. Whoops. Just so that I have an identifier to work with later. Now I have a frame layer. Well, what this does, when I drop it down, it's reading all of the layers that are in my current drawing. I like to draw my frame members on the frames layer, so I'm going to select that. Then I have a glass layer. What I like to do is I like to place my glass onto my elevation glass layer, and I have that layer set up so that it doesn't print. It'll show on screen so that I can get glass sizes out of it later, but when I produce the actual drawing, it doesn't print it, so you don't see any weird lines. Dimension layer. That would just be the layer that you place your dimensions on normally. A note about dimensions. Right now my current dimension style is AD, and my current dimension annotative scale is D elevations. This program is going to use whatever dimension style you have defined as well as annotative scale you have defined. So it's complete control and it's your stuff. Now our next box is rough opening. Well, I don't think I have to explain that to you. Let's say this one is 14 feet wide, so I'm going to put 168 in. And notice it changes to 14 feet. It's smart. It's based off of the AutoCAD units. The height, let's say this one's going to be 9 foot. I'll type 9.0. Good. Now let's say I have a finished floor offset. Let's say there's a knee wall about 24 inches high. So I'm just going to put in 24. Now I tab over, and the next thing is horizontal bays. So let's say this is going to have 4 panes of glass left to right. Tab down to vertical bays, 3 panes of glass top to bottom. Alright, now I tab to the next thing and it's glass bite. This always comes up as a 1/2 inch, but some manufacturers, some storefront guys, Curtanwall guys like to use different sizes. Let's say the bite they like to use is 5/8 inch, so let's go ahead and use that. Now, shim spacing. This would be your caulk joint at your head, but let's say you had a head receptor and that's going to compensate for another inch. I might want to put 1 1/4 in there. For now, I'm just going to use 1/4 inch. Sill, let's say you had a sill starter. You want to include that distance in here. So let's say I had a 3/8 sill starter and a 1/4 inch caulk joint. So I'm going to want to make this 5/8. Left jam, I'm going to leave it 1/4. Right jam, I'm going to leave it 1/4. I continue tabbing, and now I'm down to my dimensioning. I can turn on or off whether I'm going to dimension mullions, DLOs, frame size, or rough openings. I personally like to leave them all on. It's up to the individual user. Now the labels. I don't label my mullions, but I do label my DLOs, my frame sizes, and my rough openings. And you can put whatever you want in here. Let's say you like to actually say frame size, or you like to say rough opening. So there you have it. Now the offset is the distance the dimension line is from the frame. I like to keep my mullions at 20 inches, my DLOs at 30 inches, my frame size at 40, and my rough opening at 50. Me personally, I think it just looks good that way, but you can do this however you like. So now, the only thing left is frame generation being automatic or manual. For this demonstration, we're going to use automatic. And then draw details is checked. And what's going to happen is the frame system we showed up here is going to put details in there so that you can see the proper head, horizontal, sill, jamb, vertical. So I'm going to keep this checked so it puts that in there for me. Now let's say I was doing multiple frames. I might not want to put details in on every frame, so I can uncheck that at that time. But for now, I'm going to say OK. So from there, I'm going to say OK. And I have a little datum line down here that I've placed. So I'm just going to click on it. And there you go. It draws that frame perfect. Notice that these bays divided equally all the way across and divided equally up and down. These dimension styles are my current dimension style. And if I zoom in here to my details, here I'm showing the head block from my library. Now what's neat about this is I can go into my library. Let's say I typically use 1/4 inch. Well, I'm sorry, 1/4 inch is a shim space. I can put a 1/4 inch dimension here, and then I can put another dimension for my rough opening. I can draw on my shim, I can draw on my sealant, I can label it, and then next time I need this and draw, all of that stuff will be there. So pretty much from that point on, you have to bring in your head condition, maybe a reference line, label a few things, and your detail is done. And that's pretty much it for that tool. It's quick, does it nicely, and the next series is going to be the manual frames, so watch that one. Thanks.